Hi guys, I'm Andy. Welcome back to Backpacking UK. If hiking, backpacking and wild camping are your thing, please hit that subscribe button because that's what this channel's all about. Right, we're here today to find out which of these is the best backpacking tent you can buy. Now, to be the best, it's got to be high quality, low weight, it's got to be 4 seasons, and it's just got to be the best tent for your adventure. So I've got 3 solo tents here, cracking 1-person tents. I've got the Hilleberg Acto, which is the current model. I've got the Terra Nova Laser Compact AS, which is brand new for 2023, and I've also got the 2022 Tarptent Scarp 1, which is also the current model. So this is the cream of the crop. I've got it down to these 3 tents. The only other one that would have had half a chance is the Fjellraven Abisko Light 1. However, it's not as good as these and it didn't make the cut. Now, this is the single pole edition of the best backpacking tent, if you hadn't have guessed. They're all single poles. I see single pole tents as proper backpacking tents. They're that little bit lighter, a little bit more stealthier, but as you'll see, not necessarily small. So let's have a look around these tents. So first up, we've got the classic Hilleberg Acto. God, it's probably been around for 20 years now. It is often known as the classic backpacking tent. It costs £690 and weighs 1,715 grams all in. It's got the biggest pack size here of 58 by 17 centimeters, although I've had it much smaller than that. It uses a 30D fabric for the fly, 30D fabric for the inner, and 70D fabric for the bathtub floor. Hydrostatic head rating on this tent is the highest. On the fly, it's 5,000 millimeters, and on the bathtub floor, it's a staggering 15,000 millimeters. So it's a really waterproof backpacking tent. Next up is the new and improved Terra Nova Laser Compact AS. So this is a brand new tent for 2023 and it's massively improved on older models. So this costs £690 too, but I've got an offer code, so you get 20% off. So it's more along the lines of about 550. It weighs 1,734 grams. It also uses a 30D nylon fabric for the fly, a 30D nylon fabric for the inner, and a 70D nylon fabric for the ground sheet. It's got 3,000 millimeter hydrostatic head rating for the fly and a 10,000 hydrostatic head rating for the bathtub floor. Again, a very waterproof backpacking tent. This tent has the smallest pack size of just 33 centimeters by 19 centimeters. Next up, we've got the lightest tent of all, the Tarptent Scarp 1. Very popular tent. Again, now it's $459, including the crossing poles, which translates to £550 in the UK once you've paid for your delivery, your VAT and your duty. So this weighs 1,472 grams, and that includes all the pegs, guylines, bags, everything. Being North American tent, they often try and shave weight by not including everything. So it's got a pack size of 46 centimeters by 13 centimeters. The fly's a 30D nylon fabric. The inner is a very skinny 10D, and also for the ground sheet, again much smaller, 30D nylon fabric. Hydrostatic head rating for the fly, still 3,000 millimeters though. The ground sheet a lot less than the others, it's 3,000 millimeters too. It should be very waterproof still, however I have some issues with the ground sheet that I'll tell you about in a minute. Right, so far we've learnt that the Terra Nova Laser Compact AS is by far the smallest pack size, followed by the Tarptent Scarp one, followed by the Hilleberg Acto. We also found out that the Hilleberg Acto's fabrics are far superior, thicker and more water resistant. The Terra Nova comes next, and fairly far behind, certainly with thickness of the fabrics, is the Tarptent Scarp one. So we've also learned that by far Tarptent Scarp one is the lightest tent here, without a shadow of doubt, but we also know that's because of the thinner materials used. There's not a lot in it between Terra Nova tent and the Hilleberg Acto at all. It's negligible. Now, they all use a 9mm pole for the centre. They've all got quite different setups at the ends, which I'll just show you in a minute. And they've all got the same internal length. I think there's about 2 centimetres in it. They're all about 220 centimetres long. So the Hilleberg Acto uses 2 pegging points on the ends. I've always struggled to pitch this tent properly, even my old one too. However, Terra Nova, you got 3 pegging points, and as we go over to the Scarp one, we've got 3 pegging points too. This is by far the best way of pitching your backpacking tent. 3 pegging points, you can pitch it on uneven surfaces and you can pitch it really well every time and get that fly nice and taut, where it's much harder to do that with the Hilleberg Acto. So now let's take a look at the vestibules. So the Hilleberg Acto has a whopping great big 75 centimetre vestibule area. You can get all your gear in there and gives you some good cooking space too. The Terra Nova has just a 40 centimetre vestibule. However, it goes 40 centimetres from end to end, so it's actually quite deceiving how much you can get in this vestibule area. And the Tarptent Scarp one has a 51 centimetre vestibule, but has 2 trump cards. One, it is a 2-door, 2 vestibule design, which on a solo tent is virtually unheard of. So you've actually got 2 51 centimetre vestibules, and the second trump card is an inner that can be moved across, creating more space inside the tent and less vestibule space. So the biggest single vestibule by far is Hilleberg Acto. The smallest is the Terra Nova, although if you actually work out the area of the vestibule, because it goes right to the ends, it's not actually as bad as it first seems. The Tarptent trumps it on the vestibule stakes. 2 51 centimetre vestibules. I often quite like to put my backpack in, bag and boots on one side and all my cooking gear on the other. So next up, we're going to look at ventilation options. So on the Hilleberg Actos, primarily full solid mesh, but you can pull back this section to reveal a see-through mesh underneath. And Hilleberg Acto also has vents at the ends that you can zip down to. The Terra Nova Laser Compact AS, again similar to Hilleberg Acto, so you've got lots of solid mesh. You've got this big window which reveals see-through mesh, and also you've got these panels at both ends that can be removed to show see-through mesh to increase ventilation at the ends too. So on the Tarptent Scarp one, still lots of solid mesh. This is classed as the solid mesh inner according to their website, but still got quite a lot of see-through mesh, so there's nothing you can do about that. But it does also have some little vents at the ends that you can just pull up to help reduce condensation. So for ventilation options, in winter, lots and lots of solid mesh on the Hilleberg and Terra Nova. They're going to keep you nice and toasty. There's less solid mesh on the Tarptent Scarp one, so it is going to be a little bit cooler in winter. However, in summer, the Hilleberg Acto is a hot tent. You've got some ventilation options there, not a lot. You're going to be really hot in that tent. Next, you've got the Terra Nova Laser Compact AS with that big window, and it's got some good ventilation options at the end. I would say that's the next best, but in summer, without a shadow of a doubt, you're probably looking at the Tarptent Scarp one, and you can actually buy full mesh interior as well, so you can own both a solid mesh interior and a see-through mesh interior, which is great. So which of these is probably the best tent in winter? Let's have a close look. Now, as you can see on the Hilleberg Acto, the fly goes right to the ground. It is a really warm tent. Then on the Terra Nova tent, you can actually pull the fly down further to the ground, but there's still a gap too. And on the tarp tent, similarly, you can pull that fly closer to the ground, but there is still a gap there. So the advantages of the gap is less condensation. The disadvantages are if it's absolutely freezing cold, you don't want any gap whatsoever. So let's have a look inside these solo tents. Right, so we've got 220 centimetres length. We've got just 62 centimetres at the ends and 90 in the middle. We've got quite a small ceiling height here of 93 centimetres in the middle and just 30 centimetres at the ends. So on the Terra Nova, we've got again 220 centimetres long. Now we've got 92 centimetres width at the ends with 110 in the middle. It's 98 centimetres high in the middle and it's 48 centimetres at the ends. So on the Tarptent Scarp one, we've got a length of 218 centimetres. Now with the inner, in as small as you can get, it's 81 centimetres wide, which is still decent, but can obviously be expanded much wider than that. It's got 99 centimetre height in the middle and a 38 centimetre height at the end. So by far the smallest internal space is the Hilleberg Acto. It's lower on the edges and lower in the middle. It's also got the most narrow size at the ends. Then we've got the Terra Nova. It's very nice and spacious inside this, I must admit. The trump card is the adjustable inner on the Tarptent Scarp one, which gives you loads of width. It just slightly misses out to the Terra Nova on the ends, so you've got less head height when you're sleeping. But these two, by far, have a lot more internal space than Hilleberg Acto. Now, backpacking tents aren't known for their features. They're usually pretty stripped out. However, we've had a look at some ventilation options already. Let's just have a quick look inside to see what features these solo tents have. So there's not a lot going on in the Hilleberg Acto, to be honest. You've got a few loops to make a little line or a little lantern hook, and you've also got one pocket at one end, but that is really where the features stop. Likewise, on Terra Nova tent, not a lot to really talk about. Little hoop for your lantern, and it's got a pocket at either end of this tent. But on the Tarptent Scarp one, you've got 3 hanging hooks inside for lanterns, head torches, lines, and you've got 2 pockets at one end. Right, so these backpacking tents have different styles of doors. Let's have a quick look at them. So the door on the Hilleberg Acto opens right up, full access to that vestibule, really big door. Likewise on the Terra Nova tent, you can really open up this door, possibly even more than the Hilleberg Acto. Again, you've got full access to that vestibule area. Now the Tarptent Scarp one has like a half moon door, so you've got much less space. However, remember this has 2 doors and 2 vestibule areas, so that is its trump card. Right, so let's start summarising these tents. Right, Hilleberg Acto's been going around the longest, it's the most expensive, however it's probably the best in winter and it's the most waterproof too. However, it might have a nice big vestibule, but it's really small inside compared to the others. It really is. It's probably the most dated design now. Now you've got the brand spanking new Terra Nova Laser Compact AS. Ignore the £690 because they're giving discount codes to lots of creators like me for 20% off. So I've really got to review this at £550. I love the way it's a true all-season backpacking tent. It's got lots of space inside. The only thing I wish was a bit bigger is the vestibule. Then we've got the Tarptent Scarp one in the UK, including the crossing poles. This is £550. Weighs 1,472 grams, including the crossing poles. It's 1,900 grams. This uses definitely the worst quality materials and fixings. However, it does have that 2 doors, 2 vestibules, which I absolutely love. I really do. Right, so now it's make your mind up time. Now, one of these tents doesn't make the cut. It's the Hilleberg Acto. As good as it is, as warm as it is, as tried and tested as it is now looking dated. I reviewed my old version of this a couple of years ago, and that was my summary. I thought I was being a bit harsh on it. Got another one second hand. I still think the same. It's too dated now. It's not high enough and it's not wide enough, but I love the vestibule. Pitching it at the ends, getting it really nice and taut is a pain in the backside, and for that, that's out. Now, super ultra modern tent design, brand new, 2023. Laser Compact AS. It's basically learnt from its predecessors. This is now a really good tent. Lots and lots of space inside. I think it comes with 14 pegs. You've got pegging points absolutely everywhere. Now what I don't like about it is the stupid elastic with the inner and outer in the corners. That really annoys me. And the vestibule area is just a bit small. It's really quite annoying. Then we've got the Tarptent Scarp one. It's definitely the worst quality here. It's not to say it's really bad quality. I have had some quality issues, I should say, on this. What it lacks in quality, it makes up for in features. I love the 2 doors, 2 vestibules. Now, as a content creator, I quite often have to worry about the wind. So it's so nice if the wind changes direction, I can go out the other door and start cooking or doing my videos there. So this actually suits content creators really well. It's much better in summer as well, I would say. I like the flexibility that you've got where you can have it without the crossing poles or with the crossing poles, with a solid inner, with a mesh inner. You can even buy carbon crossing poles as well. It's really difficult. And this is much higher quality tent. This isn't. This is lighter. That's not. That's better in summer. That's better in winter. It's really close down to it. What I'm going to say, I think, is for me, I love the 2-door, 2 vestibule thing. The Tarptent Scarp one might just pip it. However, if I had to recommend a tent to anyone, I'd probably say that the new Terra Nova Laser Compact AS is bang up to date with that design. Absolutely bang up to date. And if you're very clever where you put all your backpacking gear, you can actually put a lot inside the Terra Nova AS tent. So anyway, I put all the links in the description. Comment away. This is my opinion at the end of the day. Now, if you own any one of these tents, well, you're very lucky because they are all great tents. Would I recommend all of them? I would recommend all of them. You know, it just depends what you want out of a tent, and only you know that. For me, as a content creator, the Tarptent Scarp one suits me slightly better. I would definitely also choose Terra Nova Laser Compact AS over the Hilleberg Acto now. They need to update this quite seriously, and also Tarptent need to sort their quality out. If they made a slightly heavier, higher quality version of the Tarptent and priced it 700 quid, I would pay my money up front, take my money. It's potentially the best backpacking tent in the world, that tent is. So anyway, hopefully you've liked this review. It's quite long-winded, but there's a lot to go on. I'd just be really interested to hear your thoughts, but it'd be great to see you backpacking soon. Cheers.